I'm Abhi Golhar, and I promise you I'm not crazy. My mother had me tested.
Welcome to Real Estate Deal Talk, the voice of real estate investing. We're here every day to help you get answers to your questions about achieving a better investing mindset, finding markets and deals, evaluating opportunities, structuring smart capital, and positioning the right exit strategy for your deal. It doesn't matter if you're a brand new investor or an investor that's done hundreds of deals. We're here to help you take your real estate business to the next level.
What's up, Deal Talk Nation? I'm your host, Abhi Golhar, and today we're talking about Turnkey. We're talking about Detroit. We're talking about real estate. We're talking about strategies that will make you money and why you should be paying attention to the Midwest and why you should be paying attention to Detroit, or as many of you like to call it, Detroit, which is inaccurate and totally not cool. So whoever you are, you're out there saying Detroit, just please stop, okay? That doesn't even make any sense to me. I'm from Michigan. I like the Tigers, and no. So today's going to be a lot of fun. My guest, Al Beahn from PioneerHomesUS.com, invests in Detroit. He understands the game, and he is going to shed some light as to why Detroit is a really good place to invest in real estate. Before I bring him on, I want to make sure that you, Deal Talk Nation, have access to the latest and greatest information about real estate investing. I am a big fan of the anti-guru. I'm not a guru myself. I don't pretend to be. I'm definitely not an expert in many things real estate. That's why I have a lot of folks that are coming on my show recently that know a lot, and they can definitely add a whole lot of value. What I am doing is creating a movement of awesome information for free that you can access online. The best way to do that is to go to realestatedealtalk.com, and throughout the show, you're going to have questions for Al as well. Make sure you show him some love and his team some love. Go to PioneerHomesUS.com. All right, let's roll with this thing. Al, you with me?
I'm here, Abhi.
Awesome.
I'm here, my friend.
Awesome. So, Detroit. So what is up with people saying Detroit? I never understood that.
You know what? It's funny. And first of all, thanks a lot for having me on the show. It's a pleasure to be here, and we have a lot of great other members on the show. So I appreciate you having me. I'm excited about it. So
you got it.
But yeah, Detroit. I mean, it's funny. I'm not really sure. To be honest, I've said it. I use it sometimes. I could not tell you where it originated, but yeah, I agree. It's something that's used, and maybe it's used incorrectly, but I couldn't say where it originated. But it gets used a lot. Yeah, for sure.
I understand. I might as well just I like calling it the D, the big D, Daddy D. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We just call it the D. That's the most common. The local guys, we like to call it the D. So
the D is good. It's interesting. I have a love-hate relationship with Detroit. I was born and raised in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and my initial foray investing into real estate happened in Detroit. And it was when I failed miserably, and it was crazy. I thought I could handle all this stuff when I was 16, 17. Well, not 16. I'm sorry. I lied. 18 or 19. And when I was doing some flips in Detroit, couldn't handle it. Learned a lot, though. And I've seen a lot of change in Detroit over the many years since then. This was 2002, 3, and 4, and 5. And a lot of change. And I'm super excited to talk to you about this world in Detroit because you are there, you are in it, you're constantly connecting with buyers, with sellers. So just from the onset, before we get into finding deals and raising capital and putting the right money together, building your team, what you're doing currently, why Detroit?
Why Detroit? Yeah, it's a great question. If you were to come here 5 years ago and came back today, it's a totally different place. Downtown specifically, I know everybody's hearing about Dan Gilbert. He's buying up the whole city, and he's buying a lot of things. He's doing a lot of renovations. He's upkeeping a lot of those things. But it's what's happening downtown. It's like a movement. I mean, you go down there, 5 years ago, if you went down on a day that there was not a sporting event, the Tigers were not playing, the Lions were not playing, it's a dead place. Now you go there Monday through Friday, doesn't matter if it's, a game night or not, there's activity. I think with everything that's been brought down there, obviously Quicken Loans, I think 3,000 employees at Quicken Loans live downtown. Ally Financial has moved in. Chrysler has moved in downtown. There's a lot of companies going downtown. And because of that, it's having an impact on the outskirts of downtown, which is where we like to play. And that's where our farm area is. So I think, the price points are extremely appealing to people. I think, you're getting into properties that are $35,000 to $50,000 that are, going to bring you $750 to $950 a month in rent. So I think a mixture between, all the great things going on downtown, the price points and the higher ROIs, I think that's why, to me, it's just a great recipe for success. And we've had a ton of success doing Detroit for the last, 8-9 years. So I think that's, most of those are the reasons.
Awesome. I like it. I think Detroit is definitely feeling a little bit of resurgence. I have a bunch of friends downtown, and they're telling me rents are between $1,500, $1,800, $1,900 a month, which is kind of interesting. I wouldn't have expected that for downtown Detroit, which tells me one thing: people are moving back, and I think that is, and I think that's super cool. So, you're primarily a turnkey provider, right?
Correct.
So help me understand and help our listeners understand what that means, turnkey real estate.
Okay, so turnkey real estate is, basically we kind of target the, guy or gal that works 40 to 60 hours a week. They want to be a real estate investor. They just don't have the time or method of doing that. So, we kind of are the eyes and ears on the ground, and we go out, we find these deals for people, and we kind of give them the ability to invest in real estate without having to do the legwork. So we go out, find the deals, we go renovate, we place tenants, we get them set up with property management. So they sign their closing documents, and they're cash flowing from day one. They're buying a fully turnkey asset that's already tenant occupied with somebody paying rent. And it's a turnkey investment. So they're cash flowing from day one. We sell to, individual consumers who are buying one or two at a time. And we also sell to other large companies that, currently we're selling houses. I think our biggest client is buying about 15 properties from us every single month right now. So we're selling stuff all over the board. But the big thing is we're doing the legwork to make these investments as hands off as possible. And that's kind of what our model is.
Gotcha. So when folks purchase real estate from you, they should expect, or they can expect, returns on a annual basis from the rent that they are getting from the property. Correct.
Yep.
Got it.
Absolutely.
What are some of the, and we have about 2 minutes before we go to break, what are some of the mistakes? Let's hold off on mistakes on turnkey until after we come back. What are some of the challenges of the turnkey industry? I'm sure there are a lot of competitors in the space, some claiming to do things better than others and vice versa. What are some of the challenges that you see for turnkey providers in that world? Yeah,
for me, it's, I think people come in Detroit and they want to get the cheapest possible deal. And for me, that's totally opposite, because you get what you pay for. I mean, if you're going to come into a city that's already producing double-digit returns and then try to get even better deals, usually there's a reason for it. So for me, and we turn a lot of business away because people see stuff on the internet, and it's, they're out there. They're just not things that I would put my company name on, nor would I advise somebody to invest in it. But I think the number one challenge that I see is that people are trying to come and buy the cheapest house that they can find. And it just never ends well. They're going to get what they pay for. It's probably got a crappy tenant. It's probably in a crappy area. Detroit, look, man, it's a beautiful city. Back in the 40s and 50s when everything was being built, the architecture is amazing. I mean, there's parts of Detroit where I have clients coming in town, they can't even believe it's in Detroit. So what happens is some people in Detroit, they'll get a photo of a really nice property and they'll sell it. Look, it looks awesome in photos, but if you actually come here and drive that particular area, you probably wouldn't buy that. There's a lot of great parts of Detroit, but there's also a lot of parts that you got to avoid. It's just like any metro area. Texas has some areas that you don't want to invest in. LA has some areas you don't want to invest in. So it's a metro area, and there's areas that you should not invest in. And I think that's what we see. We have a ton of clients that come to us and say, hey, I bought these houses for this amount of money, and nothing panned out the way that it was supposed to. So I think that is, for me, the number one thing that we see across the board when, people come into this market.
Gotcha. And that's such a crucial thing, too. I mean, if we're not paying attention, and I would actually say this as well, I feel like in a real estate market that's been heating up for a while, where there's a lot of activity, I feel turnkey providers will start to stray away from numbers that actually make sense and start putting premiums on stuff that just isn't acceptable. And then you have new investors that don't know any better, and they're looking at yield and saying, it seems appetizing, right. But then they're not taking a look at yearly taxes. Like, that stuff happens in Atlanta. It happens nationwide all the time, but in Atlanta, DeKalb County, for example, taxes on a cash flowing property, or not even a cash flowing property, just taxes on property in general, you're looking at $1,500, $1,600, $1,700, $1,800 a year. So if you're buying something at $72,500 and your rental is, your rental amount on a monthly is $850 to $900 a month, then it's a little bit challenging to make ends meet, especially if you're not paying attention to the numbers. All right, mistakes that investors make with turnkey property. When we come back, my guest, Al from Detroit. I'm going to say Al from the D. That's what I'm going to do. Al from the D, Pioneer Homes, Pioneer Homes US. Go check it out. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back on Real Estate Deal Talk.